Evening, everybody. This is Carling In Off the Bar. I'm Max Rushton, and I'm in a pub with an audience of people who've been here since 6 p.m. and no rowdiness, or I'll get these two on you. I am joined every week for these shows by England's greatest ever right-back after Gary Neville, Gary Stevens, Viv Anderson, Carl Walker, George Cohen, Lee Dixon, Glenn Johnson, Eddie Hapgood, if he was a fullback, Micah Richards, Nathaniel Clyne. It's Danny Mills, everybody.
Thank you very much. Did you miss anyone off there?
Do you know what? I was on Wikipedia for a long time, but I think got everyone. And also, Leicester legend Matt Elliott is here as well.
Little ripple. You forgot Paul Parker.
I did forget Paul Parker. Now, we're live on Facebook as well. If you've got anything you want to say, I've got Facebook up here as well. If you get your questions in, we will answer them if they are broadcastable. And for the people watching on Facebook, they might not know that Matt Elliott was a footballer, so let's remind you with this helpful video. Good footballer. Now, for those on Facebook who don't remember that Danny Mills was a footballer, watch this helpful video too. Danny, talk us through it.
What? Sorry, I missed it.
Did you miss that bit?
Yeah.
Your memories of that moment and how you felt when you ran, because you didn't look.
Ball was out of play. Ball was clearly out of play. I mentioned this to Thierry last year in the Euros, and he laughed at me again. No, but you can see there, the ball's out of play. Look,
you'd stop playing, hadn't you?
I tell you what, if it hadn't been out of play, I would have stuck him in row Z. That's the only reason.
Well, that was a boring start to the Premier League, wasn't it?
I mean, unbelievable. I mean, what a game. Defending atrocious at times, but amazing amount of goals, some great skill, fantastic goals. I mean, it's what we've been waiting for. We've had, 2 months off? The Premier League is back. Do you know what? If you watch a football match with two no-nonsense defenders, every single goal that went in, these two just went, you can't defend. You can't defend anymore. No one defends. So there was no praise. You just praised attacking football there. That's the first time I've heard you do that all evening. Would you go with that?
Turn it on for the cameras, isn't he?
Exactly.
You're right, though. I mean, it was poor defending from both teams, really. 7 goals. Normally are a few mistakes, aren't there? And goals are pretty much always avoidable, apart from the special ones. And I think both managers, I don't know who's got the bigger headache there, really. I mean, Craig Shakespeare will be delighted that it was away at the Emirates, 3-2 up with, 12 minutes to go? But obviously massively disappointed by the naive defending to let Arsenal back in it again.
Arsene Wenger looked pleased, didn't he, at the end? He came on in a cardigan, chatted to Kelly and the boys. Would he have done that if those last 2 goals hadn't gone in?
I think it would have been a little bit more awkward.
Yeah.
And again, I said at the start of the show that 7th, I think, Arsenal, 6th or 7th, they're going to struggle, I think, this season. And if you're going to concede 3 goals at home, that's the reason. Defensively, they're all over the shop at times. Steve Bold sat there. We looked at it halfway through the game.
This is one of your points. I asked you to make points in the pre-show on Facebook.
Steve Bold is sat there, and he's thinking, well, what am I doing here? He's one of the greatest Arsenal defenders of all time, and he's clearly not allowed to coach the defence. He's almost slumped in his chair, shaking his head. Surely he needs to do a little bit more. Yes, we're biased, we're defenders. But what was there, 5 crosses? Just simple headers, and from some of the smallest players on the pitch.
I asked you to make points each on the game. My first point, did you notice Alexis Sanchez, his missus was sitting quite far away from him, so I didn't know if they'd had a row. And then in the second half, she just disappeared. It's almost like she's gone to find his move. She's gone to Paris or Manchester already.
Quite probably. I suppose at 3-2 down, she's thinking, well, I'm out of here. There's no way I'm staying.
Do you think Sanchez will be there? Do you think him watching that, he'll think, actually?
Well, he was feigning gloominess, wasn't he? It seemed to be. When Arsenal were 3-2 down, girlfriend, lady friend disappeared. if I was him. I mean, she wasn't bad, was she? I think I'd have followed her. Followed her, sod the football.
If you're interested, that's a wonderful thing. You know, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. It's not just skin deep as well, Matt, which is lucky for the three of us, isn't it? We also appreciated Riyad Mahrez had a decent game, didn't he? But there was one cross from Riyad Mahrez where he booted it actually out of the Emirates, which is quite hard to do.
I think he got my boots on. He came inside on his left foot and he was trying to whip it in the near post, got it completely wrong, and it went out on the far side for a throw-in. It's probably cost him a few £1 million on his transfer fee. But you start to look at him and just think, Riyad Mahrez, and me and Matt were talking about it, he should have gone after they won the title. He was never going to get a better chance to get a massive move. All the time, I think, his value is coming down almost week by week, for the amount of time he stays at Leicester.
Matt, as a Leicester fan, ex-Leicester man, how do you watch that game and how do you feel about it?
Mixed emotions, really. On the face of it, it looks good, doesn't it? 3-2 away at Arsenal with 12 minutes to go. And despite the fact that they lost the game, people will say, oh, it was a brave effort, etc. But I don't know. I think the goals were a little bit easy for them to score. Poor defending, as we touched on. And I think it's going to be quite a hard season for Leicester, I think, unless they bring in one or two more. If Mahrez does go, that creativity is not there. I mean, they hustled and bustled, but at times, I don't know, it's difficult to put your finger on it because there's a case for them saying they did well tonight, but there's also a case for they looked desperate at times. Arsenal were popping the ball around the edge of the box, cutting through them, and it was desperation time defensively. So it was a bit of a conundrum, as is usually the case with Leicester. I think we'll have to wait a little bit further down the line before we see a true pattern come into the game. And
now, Danny, one of the highlights of your career was the 2002 World Cup, and you had a good World Cup there. Well done, Danny Mills.
I did all right.
You did. The only reason you played was because Gary Neville was injured.
Correct.
Yeah. So we thought we'd get Gary's thoughts on this. We caught up before Friday Night Football was filmed. We caught up with Kelly Cates and Gary Neville, and I began by saying, good evening, Kelly Cates and Gary Neville. Good evening, Kelly Cates. Good evening, Gary Neville.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Kelly, congratulations on the gig. I'm very pleased you've got it. First show. It's our first show. My aim is just to stay on air until the end of it. You're more professional than me. What are your hopes and dreams for Friday Night Football?
No, same. Stay on air is probably about the thing. I mean, really, my job here is just about getting the best out of Gary and Jamie, which just means letting them talk. So I'm only here for the furniture. I'll get us in and out of breaks, but really it's these guys who are going to be giving the insight into the game and looking ahead to this brilliant Premier League season ahead.
Who do you prefer, Gary or Jamie?
Well, I'm still open to bribery. I haven't decided yet. I'm going to decide at the end of this one and see who gives me more sweets. I was going to bring sweets, but I thought they were athletes and they'd be on the healthy diets, and then I saw them tucking into pudding. So I've decided next time I'm going to be at the bribery, but for today it's for them to be nice to me.
Now, Gary, I've got Danny
Always
Mills
nice.
alongside me, Gary. How much did you learn as a right-back and a footballer from Danny Mills?
Everything I know.
Danny, you owe Gary your World Cup career, don't you?
I do. Gary was very kind to me and picked up a little injury before 02. It's one of those things that, yes, I was delighted at the time. But, if he hadn't have been very, very kind, I would never have played in Japan. So, cheers, Gaz. I never really got you to thank you for that.
Thank you. I was thinking of you at the time.
Didn't you learn everything you know about motorbiking from Danny Mills as well?
Motorbiking? Is he doing motorbiking? Does he?
Danny does, yeah.
Oh.
Does he have
I
your
wish I
midlife
did,
crisis
actually.
already, Danny?
I got on the back of them.
I did.
On the front.
Oh, I thought you
the
drove
back.
them.
Mine are taxi bikes. Yeah, on the back.
Gary, what's your pre-match ritual now? We're going to see you on Friday Night Football doing all your all the analysis of the game. But pre-match, what do you do?
We've put quite a bit of preparation into this one. It's quite unusual, obviously, with it being new. So, yeah, so, I mean, obviously the show tonight, we've been here for a few hours now. We've had a bit of Oreo cake, cheesecake, actually, it was very nice, which is what Kelly was referring to before. Yeah, but we've rehearsed today. Normally probably wouldn't do for a Super Sunday. Do a lot of rehearsals for the Monday night, so you just try and basically, know what's going to happen and try and smell what's going to happen in the game so that you're ready for it. But no, excited tonight. You still get those butterflies, particularly in the first game of the season, and I'm sure we will have in about an hour's time when we go on air. It'll be quite exciting.
And very quickly, just finally, Gary, there was a story about Isco and his head being too big for his body and not signing for Manchester United. Jamie Carragher tweeted, "I can't believe Gary Neville got so many games." Do you want right of a reply when Jamie's not there?
You cannot reply to this man. He's a man who has nothing to lose. He will either get himself sacked or he'll bring us all down one day, and I can absolutely guarantee you.
Not tonight.
Not tonight, hopefully.
Have a good game, guys. Take it easy.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, awkward goodbye on delay. That's very kind of you. You had some praise here from Dan Cassidy. Danny, who said, as a die-hard Manchester United fan, this is on Facebook, this is hard for me to say, but Danny Mills, I will never forget the 2002 World Cup. Fair play. You took no prisoners. You could tell you had pride in playing for the badge. Well done, Danny Mills. A compliment for you. Well done.
Cheers. About time I got some compliments.
And that is a great way to end part one. In part two, we will find out from Matt Elliott what it's like to be humiliated by Dennis Bergkamp. Welcome back to Carling In Off the Bar. Danny Mills and Matt Elliott are over there. I've come all the way over here to speak to this man, Ashley Defoe. We're going to do 20 of these shows. You've got a fan as well, Ashley. This is exciting. Is he your brother? Is he a friend of yours?
No,
okay, fine. We're going to do 20 of these shows through the season. We're going to focus a little bit on each club in the Premier League. We've chosen Arsenal today. You're an amateur filmmaker, Ashley, and you've made a film about the harmony of Arsenal, haven't you?
I have indeed. So
it's lucky you won.
It pretty much is, because it would have put a bit of a dampener on the old film.
Okay, with 10 minutes to go, were you Wenger out or not?
I've tried to stay clear of that particular issue.
All right, you're sitting on the fence.
For the harmony of the club, it's all about the fans, really, isn't it?
Okay, should we see the film you made? Here is Ashley Defoe's Arsenal film.
I just think that for me, when I used to be at Arsenal or wherever I played, beginning of the season is to win the title. Don't change the way you sing your song. They always talk about winning the title at the beginning of the season, when during the season, well, we're going to try to make top 4 because, no, mentally we're better, we're more mature at the beginning of the season. But through the season, well, the maturity is not there yet, the mentality is not there yet. So you play for Arsenal, it's title. I don't care who you are, where you're coming from.
A long time, Thierry.
I know.
My name is Ashley, and I've been an Arsenal fan all my life. This last season was one of the most divided I've ever known. It's the club I love, and it's so painful to see us this way. The club's motto, Victoria Concordia Crescit, means victory grows through harmony. I want to explore whether that can still be true at Arsenal, and whether this season harmony can bring us victory. I hope so. The club's motto is victory grows through harmony. What did you think of the mood around Arsenal last season?
From the players' point of view, it doesn't help them when there's a lot of animosity between the fans, because the fans are the most important part of the club at the end of the day. You know, players will come and go, managers will come and go, sometimes board members will come and go, but the fans will always be part of that club, and the players probably, and everybody to do with Arsenal, didn't like to see what was going on.
Victory grows through harmony.
Commitment is the most important thing for fans. I mean, you always have bad games every now and again, but it's showing that commitment as a player on that pitch, and the manager can't change that. When you cross that white line, sometimes the players have got to do a little bit more. That's always very important for a fan's point of view. I'm a fan now as much as anybody else, and you know, I want to see commitment. I want to see people want to play for the shirt and giving their all for Arsenal Football Club.
Victory grows through harmony.
I wanted to play for Arsenal Football Club, but the fans maybe drive me on even more. And the support we had as team, as a player, individual players as well, was fantastic. You know, you miss that the most now. You know, playing on games at the weekend and seeing the supporters there, supporters getting behind you. That was that's the reason you wanted to be a professional footballer.
Victory grows through harmony.
Sanchez. Behind Giroud! He's come up with it. The scorpion touch. Olivier Giroud.
Victory grows through harmony. A motto that binds players, manager and fans to the great city of London. A motto that today means when we cross the white line, when we enter the field of play, victory will be achieved together.
There's a film, mate, and the nod as well. That was great. Look, it's interesting talking about harmony and disharmony, and you could even hear after like 70 odd minutes the Arsenal fans starting to get on the players' backs. When you're playing, when the fans are on your back, how difficult is it?
Home fans or away fans?
Your own fans.
It's not easy. I had it, especially at Manchester City, at times. It's difficult, you know, it's hard to block out at times, you know, and I look back, some of the games I've commentated on, you know, Ashley Cole was getting booed for England, you know, absolute legend, you know, of Arsenal, of Chelsea, and was getting booed, you know, when he made his 100th cap, you know, for his country. That's tough sometimes, you know. Sterling as well, got it last year in the Euros. But it's what you do, you know, you just have to block it out and almost pretend it's the away fans. And that's the only way you can get away with it.
Nye just tweeted, why is Mills so bitter about City even though we paid him money for literally nothing?
Why am I bitter about City? I got paid 5 years, 50 games, that's not bad.
Have you experienced the same thing, Matt? Pressure on you from fans? But fans have always loved you, haven't they?
You enjoy the pressure from away fans. You know, use that as motivation, don't you? But I've been quite fortunate. Yeah, individually, I wasn't targeted at any of the clubs I was at, even, you know, lower down the league, etc. But collectively, yeah, at Leicester, we were having a struggling time, ended up in administration, got relegated, and the the crowd do start to turn. It's difficult. That's when you see strong characters come through, really. But not everyone can stand up to it, and it affects the form of the team. Ultimately, it's negative for everyone. But the supporters are well within their rights, and I must admit, I wouldn't like it. I wouldn't like it if I was. You can pretend you're as thick-skinned as you want to be, but if you're an individual getting stick by 20, 30,000 people, it can't be nice.
I had a tweet saying, who scored the most goals in their career? Number of goals, Matty?
In my career, I've got more than you think, probably. I only got 22 in the Premier League. I've got about 90 all told.
Mills?
Don't tell me you're anywhere near that, Dan.
Mills?
9?
9 and 90. I doubt any of them were as good as this. This is time to reveal Carling's goal of the season. I can't remember what happened yesterday, so I can't remember any of the goals last season. The winner was Emre Can, this overhead kick against Watford. Here he is collecting his award from 2 Liverpool fans, Sean and Wes.
Just talk us through how you felt when you saw Lucas play the ball over.
I saw the gap and then I just ran over and I wanted to hit the ball first, and then the ball, I couldn't hit the ball, and then I didn't think too much and I just did it, and ball went in, and it was an unbelievable feeling.
Well, that is a moment to savour. Emre Can has plucked one straight out of the top drawer.
We noticed when you scored that goal against Watford, your hair stayed up perfectly in place.
I don't know, really?
Yeah, it did. We'll check.
Yeah, a lot of hairspray and a lot of wax helped me there.
He was wondering what you use on the hair.
Wax and hairspray.
Amazing goal. Amazing hair, Emre Can. Danny and Matt. Hair. Is it a subject you want to... Why is that funny? It was, that's what they were talking about. It seemed the right thing to ask. Did you ever have the same issue, trying to keep all your hair in place?
Bald is best. Simple as that.
I think it works for you. It works for you, doesn't it?
I
Listen.
used to have a little bit of a Duran flick and all that back in the day.
You did?
Back in the day, early 20s, yeah.
Did you?
Got fed up. I could never get on with gel or wax or anything like that. One day went off.
Back to football. You both have had plenty of battles with Arsenal. Danny, you were on the pitch when this happened. What are your memories of this?
Yeah. Wasn't great, was it? I mean, if it works, if you're Johan Cruyff and you get it right, brilliant. If you mess it up, you deserve it with both barrels. And I think I became fluent French that day.
I'm surprised you didn't clear him out and give away another penalty.
See, Danny blaming the officials again there. Linesman last time, wasn't it, with Thierry Henry?
It was given away though. It was art.
No, right.
During the game tonight, Martin Tyler was doing the commentary brilliantly as always, and he mentioned that hat-trick against Leicester by Dennis Bergkamp. You can't get away from that, can you?
No, I got a shout as usual. Here we go. It's not
reasonable.
Bad for starters. Just pick that out the top corner for starters.
But when you talk about goals, we said sometimes there's just brilliance. You couldn't have stopped that first goal if you wanted to.
Yeah, Danny, is Elliott at fault for this goal, this third one? What do you think? Where are you, Matt?
Here we go. Lucky touch. Head in hands.
Sometimes you just have to say, you know what? Players are absolutely brilliant. And that's one of those occasions where there's not a lot you can do about it.
I could have done. I was too busy celebrating, which no one mentioned the fact I scored about a minute before.
Yeah, and we didn't have time to put your goal in that montage.
But you haven't got time.
It's not fair.
I tell you what people what people forget about Dennis Bergkamp. That's one of the reasons I didn't play for City for so many years. He was nasty at times, wasn't he? Dennis broke my leg against Arsenal. I mean, he liked to go over the top at times. He had a bit of everything. Brilliant technique, brilliant ability, but he had that desire and that little bit of bite that obviously took him to the very, very top level.
You hate Dennis Bergkamp?
No, not at all. Robert Pires, yes, but not Dennis Bergkamp.
We've had a lot of questions from Facebook and Twitter. I'm going to rattle through some. This is a good question from Josh Parry, who says, is Giroud the best-looking Premier League player ever? Or is it still between Ginola and Cabaye? And I would throw in Fernando Llorente, because his eyes are like piercing diamonds.
That young lady there seems to agree.
What?
Giroud.
Sorry, which one? Are you sober, question one?
So I have...
OK, no, you're not. That's fine. Anyway, thanks very much for joining us.
Giroud, he's got a few skin blemishes, hasn't he?
Ginola. I mean, I tried to
the man.
I tried to mark him once or twice. I didn't know whether to kick him or cuddle him half the time.
Bomb Swede says, was Danny Mills' screamer for City versus Everton his finest goal?
Or second finest goal.
Oh, really?
Leeds versus Bolton.
Okay. Here's a question from Connor, who says, how will Liverpool do this season in your opinion? And I'll add on, will Coutinho be there?
I think they'll struggle a little bit compared to last season. I don't think they'll make Champions League. Coutinho, it seems like he's finally forcing the issue, isn't it? I think they were saying about the owners declaring no offers would be accepted, and Coutinho's put a spanner in the works. So I think they'll struggle, and I think he'll go.
4th or 5th, and no, he won't be there.
Okay, what is your top 4?
United, City, Chelsea.
Sniggers from the back already.
Tottenham. Liverpool, Everton, Arsenal.
We had a tweet from Trevor Sinclair who said, get back up north with the show, North rules, this is a library. I think you disproved that just then. But this is a cultured view of football, Trevor. It's not like, it's not just noise and shouting. This is the thinking man's footballer right here. Glenn says, does zonal marking work with a back 3? See, there's a cultured question. I think it's a reference to Arsenal, isn't it?
Well, zonal marking at set pieces should be irrelevant.
Yeah.
Doesn't work for Arsenal, does it? Don't put Monreal as the main man, defensive header, there in the middle of the box in the danger area. Who's nowhere near.
Put a man on the back post, stops. 3 goals this evening, simple as that. I don't understand why managers do not do that anymore.
Ash wrote a tweet going, I saw Matty Elliott was tweeted out and I read it as Missy Elliott. That would have been a very different show, wouldn't it?
You wish. She's got more hair as
well. James says, who is the first manager to be sacked in the Premier League and who will be the top scorer?
First manager to be sacked. Sorry, Matt, I think it might be a Leicester manager.
Yeah, you think?
It might be Shakespeare. If it gets off to a bad start, I think the owners might pull the trigger.
What about Stoke? Their opening fixtures are an absolute
That's
nightmare.
why I'm looking at Stoke. That's the one that first puts a light bulb in my head. I think Shakespeare, a lot of people are expecting that because of his lack of experience, and Leicester got a difficult start as well as Stoke. But I think Stoke, there's a bit of negativity coming out of that club.
Top scorer?
Jesus.
Really? Interesting. Do you think Aguero and Jesus play together?
He's been playing at 2, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Pre-season.
I mean, City are going to score all sorts of goals this season, so I mean, they will possibly be top scorers. Will they keep enough clean sheets to win the league? I doubt it.
Top scorer for you, please, Matt Elliott.
I don't want to be a little bit predictable, but you're looking at Harry Kane. Can't go away from him, can you?
Are you just playing to the crowd or not?
No, Harry Kane. I mean, he's done it the last 2 years, hasn't he? Why not again?
Final question from Rory. Are the rumours true? Is there really only one Tim Lovejoy? I've never heard of him, but thanks very much for your question. And that is all we have time for on today's Carling In Off the Bar. Thank you first to Mr. Danny Mills. Round of applause for Danny. Mr. Matty Elliott, everybody. And thank you for staying vaguely sober to our audience. We'll be back when the next Friday Night Football's on. See you later.
Sky Sports Premier League. Feel it all.